Hey everybody, welcome to Jen Lowry Writes. Okay, today is Monday, and as I look at the whole week's calendar, I have to decide what my writing goals are. Now, I make just a list of activities that I want to do. I was really trying to be like hardcore and like plot out my entire day. Like I also tried to plot out an entire novel. And I will say that I have learned that that loose list works very well for me and my brain. I just have to have it all down somewhere. So I have my journal beside me, but I also keep a digital journal where I just make my whole list out. And I keep going back to it. And I like the digital journal because I can add pictures and all of that too. Um, so for this week, I just wanted to kind of talk about goals. I know that I've got some priority pieces that I need to do. First, and that is to get out my newsletter. This weekend was a learning weekend for me. I took the time to soak up in the lovely panels and discussions and presentations by the Writing Oasis writing retreat that they had, the Evergreen Writing Oasis writing retreat. So I did have goals to do that newsletter this weekend. However, I was truly enjoying just relaxing in the moment, taking in all of the author advice and community. So I still have that on my list of things to do. So that is my number one priority for this week. But to send out my newsletter, I created something last night, which I absolutely love. So here's the thing, okay? I want to share everything out under the sun, but I understand that there are some things that need to be just for my newsletter subscribers. Or why would they subscribe to my newsletter if they can just go to Facebook or go to Twitter or go to LinkedIn or Instagram and see the same thing? So I understand that I need these little special updates for my newsletter people. I created flash fiction. I love doing furious fiction just for my novels. I don't turn in some of them. I just write just for the exercise of writing the furious fiction competitions. And then I keep my work because it's like these little tiny vignettes or little short stories, whatever you want to call them, just little flash pieces, the microfiction pieces that can really go along with my stories, same worlds, and then I can offer them up with my newsletter. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm going to feature I said activities. I'm going to feature two May's pieces this week. Maze is one of the characters of Sweet Potato Jones, and so that is her brother. And I wrote a poem last night. Guys, I just want to say I feel like I never have enough like hours in the day just to read books too. But I did finish A Long Way Down. Oh my gosh. If you have not read that book by Jason Reynolds, I just want you to pause the video right now, go to Amazon or go to your library app and put it on hold. Whatever you need to do for my YA and MG people out there. Oh, I ran out of my room last night when I finished. I ran to the boys' room. I held my phone up and I said, I'm sending this back. You got to go pick it up. Like, let's do it fast because I don't want this to be missed. I have to have you to have this on your thing. And he was like, but Mom, here's my book that I'm currently reading right now. And he lifted his book up and I was like, okay, you can read that book, but you got to read this one too. You got to do it for me because I got to discuss it with you. We got to talk about it because I have to. You have to. And so he did. So my 17-year-old, as soon as I returned it, he borrowed it, and now he's got it. So I will tell you, sometimes I just feel like I need just hours and hours and hours and hours to read. And that's why I'm taking book recommendations right now for YNEMG. That's why I've got this Soul Food Book Club. One of my author friends got on Twitter, and I just saw it this morning when I was checking my notifications, and she was like, what is this? And I was like, it's my book club. And we're meeting twice a month. And then at the beginning of the month. So we're actually going to be meeting 3 times a month starting in August. And we're going to be just talking books. And we're meeting on Twitch. I really feel like that's just a great hangout place for talking books. Maybe I will stream it over here on YouTube next time. I didn't the last time, but it's a small group on Goodreads right now, so you guys are welcome if you like YA and MG. And we started with Marie Lou Warcross, and I moved from that. That was a sci-fi dystopian, action, adventure, romance. I moved from that and went to Long Way Down. And now I'm like, okay, I've got to get the next one. I say I'm only going to read one book a month. It's going to be kind of like a book feature, but I'm still going to highlight the YA and MG books that I'm reading for myself. There is a young readers version, which I love young readers versions. Guys, that stuff matters so much to me because that is an easier access point to some reluctant readers and some readers who are still grasping the idea of story. So young readers versions speak to my heart. And The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind has a young readers version. So I may highlight that one next. I don't know. I've got so many. Oh my gosh, I've got so many. So here's some of my, last night, a sweet lady came on with me on YouTube and was like, you need to remind people you're going live. So I did this morning. I was like, hey, I'm live in like 8:15. I'm going live. I'm going to try my best to start doing that. I wrote that down on my things to do this week. I also wrote down that I need to do 2 reviews. So if I've read Marie Lou's work, and it's 5 stars, no doubt, and I've read Long Way Down, 5 stars all the way, then I'm going to write reviews on those 2 books, and those need to go on my blog. So I've got to take time to do those reviews. It's not going to take me long. I also wrote make a podcast about priorities. I made a podcast last night to talk about writing sprints because without my 2 friends, I wouldn't have known anything about writing sprints. So I know that some of my podcast listeners might go, oh, I want to participate in some of those kind of things. So then today I want to talk about priorities on my podcast. What else do I have on here? I need my glasses. Seriously, I need my glasses to look at my list. I'm reading The Secret Ingredient by Nancy Nagel. I'm in chapter 7. And so that is an adult romance. It is a Hallmark movie, a Hallmark book. And I love Nancy Nagel. She's going to be our WWJ keynote speaker for our virtual writing conference on the 22nd of August. So if you look, I've got a month left to immerse myself in the world of Nancy Nagel too. And I love her work. So that is not like a burden, people. That is a joy. This is a joy reads, y'all. All this has been joy reads. I'm holding a WWJ meeting this week. That's my Patreon group. So we're going to be meeting on Wednesday. I've got a faculty meeting on Thursday. I've got a dentist appointment on Thursday for a cavity. Let's not even talk about it. My kids are picking at me enough. And then I've got a meeting tomorrow with my faculty. So I've got, 2 school-related events this week. On my list, I also know that I want to continue to write poetry for Sweet Potato Jones. So those poetry pieces are going to be just collected and sent out to my newsletter people. So I've got that to continue to write the poetry. I love the piece I wrote for Maze last night. A long time ago, his name was Corny. We changed it to Maze. So sometimes I might flip back into his old name. And there was something else. Oh, and I also need to start making my educational videos. And I was thinking this morning, because I've got teachers out there that are on my Twitter, and I've got teachers on my Instagram and LinkedIn. I was really considering having like a Google Meet, a meeting of the minds, and or having a Zoom with some of my teacher friends, and let's just brainstorm like what worked in the virtual platforms. What was it that worked? Not to even talk about what didn't work. We talk about that. Let's talk about let's get like generate a brainstorming session of the things that worked. Um, and the reason why I thought about this is because we're about to step into that time again. And while we have the opportunity just to focus on these positive things that worked, it can really give us something to go back to and say, oh, I could try this now. This is a tried and true. So we might have a tried and true meeting. I might call it that. Actually, not call that. For high school teachers. And I might see if I can just have a panel discussion, and we can take notes the same way that I did for the ideas for the teachers' resource guides. My two author friends met me here on StreamYard, and we had a ball, and we came up with over 50 creative ideas on how we could support teachers with materials for our books. Absolutely love that activity together that we did. And it's become so good, like such a handy note-taking sheet. And I go back to it when I was at the Evergreen Writing Oasis workshops this weekend, and they had the one on marketing. I just went at the bottom of that, and I just had some marketing topics, and I took notes off of that same sheet. I'm just keeping that running sheet of ideas of how to help, but also how to promote, market. So that's cool. And then I've got my WWJs on it, and they got the sheet too. As insider lanes. So I'm really thinking about that, and that hit me this morning. So I got to pray about that. Pray that the Lord just opens up those doors for me, and that we get people who are really ready to talk positive action steps. I know sometimes when we get on, topics, sometimes they can take a different turn. And I don't want it to be like a negative discussion about all of the things that didn't work. I want us to talk about the things that did. If you're really what I'm reaching for, have a bag of rubber bands. And I don't know, I'm a little weird. Okay, so here we go. I am going to go over, this is a writing sprint. I have talked for 15 minutes to you guys about goals and things I'm up to. Let me know what you're working on. Tell me what's up in your life. Okay, so I'm going to say, welcome, y'all. Thanks for joining my writing sprint. I'm in chapter 26 of my first thriller. I'm going to be finished hopefully this week. That's my goal, y'all. That's another goal. I didn't even talk about my writing goal. That is to finish this book this week. Yes. A novel in a month. A novel in a month. You can do it. You can do it. 6, 8, 28. Eastern. I will be back in 20 minutes to chat. Let me know what your goals are. A lot of goals this week. That's why I'm making the priority podcast. Okay. Set the timer, Jim. Set the timer. Set the timer. I can work without the timer, but I do it for you guys. Do it for you guys. 2020. Okay. 10, 5, 1. All right, I'm here. Let's see, 16 minutes left of this sprint. Oh, look, Allie's here. I just popped over, Allie. I'm typing away. I have 50 seconds left. It's good to know that you're out there with me. Oh, tell me about your novel. Yeah, we've been doing these writing sprints thanks to Tish and Anne, who really enlightened me about the whole novel writing and nano. I always give them props and shout outs all the time because they have really helped me by teaching me about the writing sprints. And now that I do them, like I am hooked on this kind of structure and routine because it helps me be so much, I'm like so much more productive. Um, if I don't watch it, I will sit and write all day long. Like last summer, I was writing books in a couple of weeks. This one, I was like, no, I want to do a chapter a day because I've got so many other things that I'm working on. Yes. Yeah. Tish is in a different time zone than us. And so having to work with the Tish is that super early. And the great thing about banking these videos on YouTube, I know it's different when it's not like in real time, but we can still have, like, we can set it anytime during the day. And Tish Bouvier, our friend, that's who we're talking about, she has the fancy clock and the music that her daughter produces. And she's got this set up. And here I am, like, with my timer on my phone, just like hanging out, doing my thing too. So, awesome. But yeah, I think early morning for me, I am the best in the morning. This is me without coffee, me just popping up and taking care of the writing goals. But I find that in the afternoon and the evening, this house gets extremely, extremely active. Right now, kids are asleep, my stepdaughter's at work, you know, it's quiet right now. But it's gonna get like last night I tried to do a night writing sprint. I had to cut it off. I had to come back in at a second video. The kids kept coming in, Mama, you're streaming? Mama, cut it off. Mama, I want to talk to you. It was so sweet. I was like, okay. And then then I got a text, do you want to paint tonight? And I was like, okay, well, they want to paint night. And I was like, how about tomorrow night? Because I knew I was going to do my writing this morning. And I had to just finish up that chapter. And then after that one, I got another text. Hey, Mama, you want to make brownies? And it was like 8:30 at night. I'm like, no, it's too late. Can't be eating brownies this late. And so I was like, okay, so now today at 1 o'clock, I have a scheduled recipe um, with my son. We're going to be making brownies, and then we're going to be having paint night tonight. So um, I'm like, guys, y'all, you got to just let me have just a little bit to do that. But it was funny. It was like right when you get started. Um, and then Amazon delivered my groceries. I was like, oh my gosh, okay. I'm just but I wrote 3,300 words last night. So I still was productive, but it was this in and out. And you know how much I love I about said the pockets. You know how much I love the Hobbit. So I will be going around going, I'm writing in pockets. What's in your pockets? It's such a bad um accent here. But yeah. Oh yeah, paint night. Trust. Yeah, we do paint night. My husband drew a cabin in the woods last time. He actually painted last time. He is a like amazing artist. He doesn't have to look at any models or any samples, anything. Um, Me, I need pictures at least to give me inspiration, and then they never look like anything like the picture. I could never be one of those um, people that try to recreate art. Like, nope. But I have fun though, so it's just fun family time. So we'll be doing that today. That's why I'm doing a paint party for Sweet Potato Jones. because we do them anyway. Why not? Why not have a paint party? But all right, so I am gonna go back to it. Okay, I'm setting timer for 20 minutes. Gonna be writing away. Oh gosh, I wish he would, Allie. I wish he would. If anybody's over on Twitch with me, Allie was like, "That's so cool. He could illustrate your books." Like I've taught him about that. He's like, "But I just don't have any interest in that." So let him watch his bulldozers and people making ponds on YouTube. Okay, here we go. 20 minutes. 20 minutes. There's the timer. 20 minutes. Gone. Just like that. Okay. I love Roald Dahl. And so he wrote a short story called Lambs to the Slaughter. I don't know if you guys have ever read that before, but there is a scene in it where there are like 4 police officers, and there's 4 police officers in my group. So I'm looking at it like kind of like a parallel. If you've not read that short story, go grab it. It's like 3,000 words. And speaking of word count, okay, I am going to go over and check how that sprint went. I know that for Nano, it's like 1667 a day to get to that 50,000 word count, but I'm past that. I have written 1,189 words this morning, and now my total word count for my novel is 65,600. So I know that I'm going to get probably to a 70,000 word novel this month. Yeah, it's so fast, Allie. Yeah. And that's the thing. Before, I wasn't really even doing, like, with writing sprints, this is the deal. You're supposed to do the timer, come back, take a mental break, take this brain break, connect, and just share. And then there's times when if I'm just writing, doing my writing sprints, and I'll pop over in the chat, I'll be like, okay, guys, I can't stop. Let's do 20 minutes right now. And I'll just keep going, keep going. So, yeah, we're about to start that next one. How far did you get? Are you editing or are you doing a rewrite? Where are you? I am gonna like this 1,100 words. So, but I just read a short story too by Roald Dahl, who's one of my favorite authors. So, okay, I'm gonna set up that it is 9:17 a.m. We are starting our next sprint. Counting down 20 minutes. Okay. So I would just put that there in case somebody does happen to come into this sprint and go, well, where are they at right now? They will know. Okay, 20 minutes, 20 minutes. Let's go. Go, Allie, got an extra page. Go, girl. Okay, 1950. Here we go. Okay, I got my last line. Oh, let's see. 5 minutes left in the sprint. Keep working, guys. Okay. Here we go. That was the ding. Now we get to check from this writing sprint. How did everybody do? Okay. I gotta go count them up. See what I got. I want to ask you guys, is this something that happens to you? What happens to me? I have 268 pages so far of this novel. Almost done. I think I'm going to get an extra chapter though. Okay. 1870 is as my word count for this chapter. And I'm going to keep adding in the middle of it, but putting in some little description pieces because I do some heavier dialogue. But I'm at 66,343 right now. So we can do a check-in and see where everybody's at. I know I talk about this a lot about how much I love the last lines of each chapter. There's something about the power of the last line. I went to a great workshop by one of my dear author friends yesterday where they talked about the power of a first line. So if you guys want to be bold, I would love it if you could share maybe the first line of your story and what you're working on, or maybe the last line of a chapter. But that's something that when I get to this moment when I'm writing and I get to that last line in a chapter, some people, I will see threads of discussion. How do you know kind of when your chapter is over? How do you know when you've got this whole complete scene and you need to move on, either through a break or through a new chapter? And for me, I just get this knowing. And it's like, okay, there's the line. Oh, yay! Go! Allie got a fight scene in. If anybody's over on Twitch, Allie's got a fight scene. Go, Allie. Have a great day, girl. Love you. But there's something about the first line, but I love these last lines. I was reading Long Way Down last night, and I would just raise my hand up to Jesus. Like there would be just these power lines, just power lines, and they would be at the end of each prose section. I just had to raise my hand. That's just the power of words and the power of that punch and that pack that it gets at the end, and it just makes you keep going and going. And so that's kind of like what happens to me. So it's not necessarily the word count in the chapter that I'm looking at. I'm looking at the final feel of the chapter. Did it have its fullness? Is it there? And then what I do is after I finish, so I just got 1870 this morning. I'm finished with this chapter. And I will go back in an edit the next day, and then I will pick up on that chapter and I'll do any fill-ins. Or if I have pockets of time, I will write in pockets and I will just work on building up the world within that chapter. Sometimes when I am doing my first drafts, I can heavily lean on my dialogue. Getting all of the voices of my characters and having that push the scene. And I do know that it just can't be that. So I do go back in. This isn't like something that I find I do at the very beginning of a first draft. I have to go back in, and that's my editing piece. And so I understand that even though right now this chapter, is 1870, it's definitely going to probably be 2800 by tomorrow or tomorrow afternoon, because I will go back in and add some of the details in there. that I just got to get their words out. I've got to get um, all of the emotion out. And so I stick with all of that with the character first. So that's kind of like one of my styles. I've picked up on it um, just these rounds with the Sunday Killer. Not necessarily noticed that about my work before, but maybe with this adult thriller, that's just something new, like for me. But becoming self-aware of not only my writing process, what's been working for me, writing sprints have worked, plotting this thriller worked, using my Jamboard and my timeline every day really helps center me back in and focus me on what I'm supposed to do. And my initial brainstorming notes, that plotting, guys, has been very instrumental in me pushing out this book at a faster pace because I know the big picture. Usually I don't. I'm just flying by the seat of my pants, typing it away. But because I know the big picture work, it's making it all just come together really nicely. Big puzzle in my head has already kind of been solved. So, and then if I lose a piece and it falls under the table and that piece wasn't meant to be in that final puzzle, then I'm not going to spend time trying to search for it and force it. If I've got a piece that I thought was going to fit and it just doesn't fit anymore because I still write like with headlights and I pant still as I go, I'm not forcing pieces that I wrote in there. However, it still is working itself out in its own way. So I'm pretty good. An hour and 30 minutes this morning. I'm going to be back live streaming this afternoon because if you guys missed the beginning of this stream, I talked about writing goals and I vocally was like, okay, I'm going to read out my list of all the things that I've got to do this whole week. And it's a ton of author business that is completely outside of just me working on my nano goals and my manuscript. So I like to get my manuscript done in the morning. I like to get all of this writing out. And then if I have pockets where I've got to revisit something, I will. But I love doing it this way, structuring my day. It helps keep me balanced, but it also helps keep me on social media when I need to be on social media. It helps me stay focused on creating, the Canva images and my newsletter. So I'm going to be working on my newsletter this afternoon. So if you guys want to hang out with me while I'm putting together that newsletter, come on back at 3 o'clock because that's what we're going to be talking about, author newsletters. So I would love some brainstorming on that. You can share what you're using. We can look at different platforms. I can show you which shout out, what I use. And then if you want to sign up for my newsletter, it's in the description of this video, and then you'll be able to get it right in your inbox. So, all right, guys, love y'all. I hope you have a blessed day. Hope to see you later. Subscribe if you haven't. Hit that bell so that way you can be notified when I'm going live. Okay, bye, guys.